everybody?
What's good, everybody? I'm
Why
John.
so exasperated? I'm Kendra.
Because
Is it because of this question I was about to ask?
Listen, you guys, I've been dealing. There's an epidemic going on in the Perez Carter household.
I think I've had a revelation sitting here today, drinking my V8 Energy blueberry pomegranate. I think there's flu presentation in a lot of my favorite movies. I think floop has been more of a
constant
in my life. It has made more of an impression on me than I previously realized.
Elaborate, please.
Spy Kids.
Okay.
The floop beginning. The beginning of floop. For those who don't know.
The origins of floop.
The origins of floop, for those who don't know. I don't even know what his full name was.
You don't need to.
Something Floop was a character that Alan Cummings played in Spy Kids.
Oh, we know.
The first Spy Kids movie, and it did scare me. So I was more of a, listen, I'll be fair. Kind of throws a hole in my revelation, but I was more of a Spy Kids 2 Island of Lost Dreams person because the first Spy Kids scared me, although revolutionary.
He does have a first name. Fegan.
Fegan Floop?
Yeah, Fegan Floop.
Damn. So.
And yeah, he's got a television show. Floop's Fooglies.
I think this is why I'm mentally ill today. Anyway, so the Floop getting, and he's been in everything.
He's been
X-Men
in
too?
Everything. X2?
He's in X-Men. I just remembered because we were singing Spice Girls before we started recording. He was in Spice World. So I'm like, has there been a Floop presentation in my favorite stuff? And perhaps he, more than anyone, has shaped me as a person.
He was in Romeo and Michelle's
I've never seen that
reunion.
And you know what? Now I will, because he's in it. Alan Cumming. Just one Cumming, not more than one. Son of the Mask. Never saw that
Holy
either.
shit, we were just talking about GoldenEye. He was in GoldenEye. I forgot about that.
Holy shit.
He was in Annie.
He's in clips of Cabaret that I've seen on TikTok, but I've never actually seen Cabaret.
He's famous for
He was
Cabaret.
in Josie and the Pussycats. Guys. He was in Hurricane Bianca, which I think I did see, actually. Anyway, all I'm saying is that maybe we should all take a long look at our lives and see how much Floop is secretly there. Surprise Floop, surprise Giamatti.
Jesus
That's all
Christ.
I'm saying.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what to do with this revelation. I just have a few questions.
You have questions for me?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Who, what, when, where,
and why? Do I desire? What do I intend to find this time? I love Floop. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. I will reiterate. He was just such like a tortured, tragic little guy. He was just like fucking lonely. So he stole a bunch of parents and twisted them all up and made his own friends. And a very successful show. Entrepreneur. Successful businessman. Parent kidnapper.
CEO, entrepreneur. Born in 1964.
I don't know when he was born.
Fegan
Floop.
Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Ringside.
Floopside.
We did the other introduction already, so we don't need to do that part again.
Yeah.
But sorry, I listen. Let us know what you think of Floop, please.
I would love to. Does anyone else think of Floop as much as I do?
You know what? This is an early symptom of the fact that we're both finally on vacation.
Woo! We're getting silly. This is our silly one.
Now that Kendra doesn't have to actively think about her job and work and all that stuff.
Yes.
This is what's occupying her mind.
Yes, I'm taking the longest vacation from work I've ever taken since I started after graduation. Taking two full weeks. I almost took a month. And I regret that I didn't.
Yeah.
But the 2 weeks will be a nice break. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I fear I will be bored.
You're just going to be thinking about Floop the whole time.
I do that anyway.
Your padded cell.
No, I do that anyway. But I'm prepared for. We had a conversation earlier today about how lucky we are because we're best friends. Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't know, today's the 8th. Not to date
this recording.
Not to date the recording, but in 4 days, Wednesday the 11th is our 9th anniversary of dating. What the hell? Put that away.
I had to stunt on him a little bit.
Had to show them why I've been sticking around these 9 years. Anyway, but we were talking, we're like, I think it was one of your family members posed the question, like, do you guys ever get like tired of each other? And no, we're very lucky. When we get tired of each other, it's like, I just need to sit by myself for like 10 minutes.
Right. It's usually like, if I'm tired of you, I'm tired of everything right now. And
Yeah.
I just need to be away from everybody.
It's never singularly you. It's like something else is happening.
And I'm doing something
and you're being annoying. Yeah. But what was I gonna what were we talking about to get to this?
We were talking about a vacation, and then you said,
So all that being said, we might have different answers after these 2 weeks off, because this is going to be like a lot of time, me and you hanging out together.
It's true.
You might be sick of me at the end of these 2 weeks.
I don't know. I leave the house pretty frequently, though. I like go to the gym.
That's
and
true.
If I need something, if we need something from the store, I'm usually the one to
I'm not
get out and go get it.
Well, because usually I'm working.
You've been on your gaming kick lately.
Guys, I've been playing.
Tell the people what you're doing.
I've been playing so much Dress to Impress. I know I'm like 6 years. No, I'm like really behind the trend of playing Dress to Impress, but I've been playing Dress to Impress like every available free second of my time. And I'm only okay at it. I've been playing it a lot, and I'm only okay at it. I've gotten a couple first places. Hey guys, I've gotten a couple first places.
We're clearing space around here for the trophies.
For some of these trophies, these digital trophies. I will say, sometimes, not to toot my own horn, I'm pulling out some bangers, but I don't know my audience. I think that's my issue. And the audience is children. This is a Roblox game. Don't call the police. I'm not doing anything weird. But this is like a children's game, and I'm 30, almost. Still in my 20s for a little while longer. But, so I'll like, I can't remember. There was one where I was like, oh man, this is going to get some laughs. And I think it was like too dated of a reference, and I came dead last. That's so fucking embarrassing.
Damn.
There are people who didn't even have enough time to put on like an actual outfit, and I came last. That's how much they hated my shit. I wish I could remember what it was.
I couldn't help you there.
Or like one of the themes was theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, what do kids know? Everyone knows Hamilton.
Everyone knows Hamilton.
I did Eliza. I pulled up a reference photo. Oh, Hamilton, yes. Tony's are today. I pulled up a reference photo and everything, and I fucking lost to made up characters. People were just making shit up. And you know what I almost did? Christine Daae.
I was gonna say you should have done something from Phantom.
They wouldn't have gotten that. They barely got.
I don't know.
They're not picking up what I'm putting down. Clearly,
they're not ready.
They're not ready.
You should have done like Jack Kelly.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack Kelly, the famous union leader. You guys don't know about Jack Kelly?
You guys don't know about Jack Kelly?
They were like, I know the SpongeBob musical and a little bit of Hamilton, and probably Mean Girls.
These kids, they don't even know.
They don't even know about Newsies.
Hit them with some Sondheim. Be the giant from Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of theater, very quickly, just because it kind of falls into it has nothing to do with Alan Cumming or Floop, but it does have everything to do with Draco Malfoy.
Oh, yeah.
Tom? His name's Tom, right?
Yeah.
Tom Felton. Reprising his role as Draco Malfoy in Broadway's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Cursed Child.
The Cursed Child.
I believe the child's from the Amazon.
The Amazon.
Got lost and cursed by his...
It's funny, he talked about it on an interview, and he really hit that. Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, you love when he does that.
Fun thing to edit right there.
Yeah, you probably...
I need a new microphone now.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I think it's kind of cool. He did give an unfortunate. I saw he gave an unfortunate.
Oh no.
Safe as can be answer when asked about the author of those books.
Ooh.
It was just like
tough subject.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, she wrote the books that we all love, so like, there's that.
Yeah, there is that.
And I'm like, yeah. How is it that the original three, at least two of those original three, are given the best answers whenever asked about it? Like, hey, I don't condone any of that bullshit she said.
Because they did stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
They're not reliant on this one thing that they did when they were 11.
Yeah.
No offense
to
Tom Felton.
I'd be doing the same thing.
Milk it for all it's worth.
Get the money.
But I think that's why.
Yeah.
Some people
they have careers.
And they diversified their portfolio and put all of their eggs in one transphobic basket.
That's true.
But it must be like difficult to, especially, it's not just like such a big part of your past if you're still intending to try to do stuff with it in the future. Like, that's a tightrope to be walking.
And like, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on from this is one of the weirdest segue into subjects that we've ever done, I think.
The floop into Dress to Impress, into musicals, into Tom Felton.
Well, it is, you know what? It is very us.
It is very us.
It is very us. Anyway, so we're on vacation. We're going to enjoy the hell out of it. Keep an eye on social medias. You might see us go live. From where? Who knows?
We'll never tell.
We'll never tell. Anyway, this weekend, as of this recording, it was a big WWE weekend.
Yes.
We experienced from the comfort of our own homes. WWE Money in the Bank, one of our favorite events of the year. Mm-hmm. And then our very first AAA event, it was a co-produced event with AAA and WWE for Worlds Collide. I gotta say, it was a hell of a show. Both were really good shows.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on the shows, maybe some favorite matches, some favorite moments. We're going to talk about the big moment at the very end of Money in the Bank.
I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So the only experience I have with lucha is the people who are in WWE who maintain that style, and the very few Lucha Underground matches that you showed me, basically. I think I saw one of Ricochet's. I saw Chelsea Green versus Penta. Io Sky versus Penta when they were doing under different names.
Right.
So that's kind of the only exposure that I had to it. So I wasn't really sure what to expect from a full event. Oh my God.
It was so fucking cool.
It was so fun. And I knew going in that there was a very real chance that Worlds Collide was going to be the better event of the night.
Right.
And it was.
Yes.
From an entertainment perspective, because I can't comment on like storylines and future states and everything, because I met half of the people that day.
Right.
And we got a lot of storyline stuff happening in Money in the Bank. That's kind of like what it's for. But like pure entertainment value, like shock value and all that was definitely Worlds Collide. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. And with that said, we fully acknowledge that it's a completely different style of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, it's a completely different presentation. So, you know, take our words with a grain of salt. But yeah, I agree with as far as the spectacle and just like of the actual matches themselves. Yeah, Worlds Collide was something really, really special. I liked how they, and I'm guessing this was more of a WWE thing, how they really peppered in the history of AAA, like as segments in between each match, because for us, we were like very, very, very minimally aware of what AAA even. I mean, we know what Lucha Libre is, but we weren't very familiar with AAA as a whole. But I mean, in that sense, we're the intended audience, you know, for people to be exposed to this sort of thing for the first time now that they're on this much more international scale, right? So that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, this was an event that really went just guns blazing from the get-go.
Yeah.
because we were talking about it today, the very first match of the card might have been our favorite.
Of the whole night.
Yeah.
My favorite match of the whole night was that first. What was it? A 6-man tag? With...
I'm pulling up the card
I want to see if I can remember. Cruz del Toro.
So the LWO.
Well.
Mostly.
Cruz del Toro. Dragon Lee. And Laredo Kid.
No.
No. The fucking cat guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Lince Dorado.
Okay. But he's a lynx.
Yes.
Like a cat. Versus my favorite person, I think, ever. Second to Floop.
That's right.
Mr. Iguana.
Mr. Iguana, Octagon Jr., and Aerostar.
Okay. And yes, Aerostar, yes.
This match was phenomenal.
So good.
It was so good. It was so fun.
Especially considering that LWO was supposed to be fully represented, but Joaquin Wilde got a fucking concussion on Monday. So they had to completely just find someone to fill that
and they're
gap.
pros, so like I'm not,
Exactly. It was like similar to when Rey Fenix had to jump in for Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And again, like I think I said it after that match, if I didn't know who was supposed to be in that match, I would have assumed that it was always meant to be that, and that that's what they had been rehearsing for weeks.
Yeah, this match was like...
It was so fun.
And it was like
so
the
good.
perfect match to like really introduce just what you can get and what you will get with this lucha libre style, because I mean, when you have a character like Mr. Iguana, I want to talk about Mr. Iguana for like most of the podcast, but we'll dial it back a little bit. The him entering in, walking on all fours.
I didn't like that actually.
With the iguana puppet.
Terrifying.
He's painted like an iguana. He's got a green tongue. Like just committing to the bit so much. And they used the word pageantry in this before, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just because the costumes are completely different than what you'd see in like WWE style wrestling, right? So just I don't know. It was all so cool, and some of the spots and some of our favorite moments. I loved. What was the?
I don't remember the iguana's name.
The iguana's name.
I don't remember. I should know.
The iguana being used as an active participant in the match.
Almost got the pin.
Almost pinning Lince Dorado. And then taking several bumps, including a Spanish fly, done on a iguana puppet.
That's so funny.
Like
I love that.
It was amazing. And I really want to shout out Cruz del Toro. This man, I mean, listen, we talk about LWO all the time about how they had their moment, but ever since then they've just been kind of really criminally underutilized. Yeah. This match, there were several times where, I mean, I pointed it out when we were watching in our living room, but even on commentary, they started saying like, oh man, Cruz del Toro, he's really doing amazing things tonight. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not just making this up in my head. No, he was doing all sorts of like high flying shit. He was doing this all just really impressive just movements around the ring. You could see he was in his element in this style, and the fact that he got to fully show it off with other people in this style. It was really, really cool. Yeah.
It's a testament to like, this is what people can do when you give them the opportunity and time and a stage to do it on. Cause like I always knew, cause we get to see glimpses of it, but we never get to see it full out. That's why I was so excited for this match to be able to see specifically Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, not Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, God.
I keep wanting to say that. But you know
what? Put that motherfucker in a ring.
But also him too.
I think we can knock some sense into him.
Because I know what they can do, and they just never get the opportunity to showcase it. So it was good to see.
There wasn't a bad match on this card, and there may be matches that people liked more than others, or you might have liked more than others. But I think for the most part, it was a really, 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 really solid show. Stephanie Vaquera and Lola Vice got the dub.
Yes.
With a double devil's kiss. What a time to be alive.
John was alert for that one.
I was awake. No coffee needed. Then we had Legado del Fantasma versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Excuse me.
Yeah. He's the third.
Pagano and Psycho Clown.
Yes.
Ethan Page. So the Fatal 4-Way banger of a match. Ethan Page beating Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix.
I knew that one was going to be fucking
banger. Fucking banger. And then, of course, Vikingo versus Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. You know, listen, you know, can we strip kayfabe for a second, Kendra?
Yeah.
Give Chad Gable, him and Stephanie Vaquer, give them MVPs.
Yeah, they
night.
Yeah, they really worked hard.
Because, like,
2 matches. Stephanie had 3.
Stephanie had 3 matches in less than a day. Chad Gable went a 22-minute match, main event match, and then did as El Grande Americano in the Money in the Bank match, and took several crazy bumps and a fucking wicked spear.
Yeah.
So, like, give that man.
And then he didn't get up after.
Give that man his flowers, because holy shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of Money in the Bank, another one.
Guys, what the hell?
This one was a good one. I thought this was good.
And we ate crow a little bit because we did say that we thought that the women's Money in the Bank match was going to be better because it usually is. But you can't really compare it when like crazy shit was happening in the men's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, there was a lot of spots happened.
Yeah.
But
still solid. Both of them still solid.
Yeah. The women's match was awesome. Was so happy to see Naomi, who made history, first black woman to win to be Miss Money in the Bank,
which is crazy.
Which is crazy to think about, but at the same time, it hasn't been around. The women's Money in the Bank match hasn't been around as long as the men's Money in the Bank match. So, you know, but at the same time, like, damn. Becky and Lyra putting on another really great match. No Bailey.
Yeah, no interruption.
Yeah, which, you know, I'm not mad that we didn't get any interruptions where we thought we would.
Yeah,
we did get some in the men's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
We got several, but none of the ones we thought were going to happen.
Yeah.
So what else was on the card? What am I forgetting? Oh, Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. had an impromptu match set up at Worlds Collide.
Yeah. Which is cool because it makes me think like, okay, this is the beginning of them being integrated, not just like that, but also Worlds Collide. We're going to see them pop up more. I would love to see Mr. Iguana at Royal Rumble.
Put Mr. Iguana in the Royal Rumble.
2 separate entrants, one for Mr. Iguana, one for the puppet.
Oh my God.
People would be so pissed actually if they use up two slots for that. But that'd be really funny.
But I think that's where we're headed though, is seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. And
again, just showing these people off, just these incredible entertainers and athletes just on just such a grand scale. I'm so happy for them.
And I really hope that they stay true to what they're saying, that they're not going to change things, that WWE isn't going to change things with AAA now that they own them. And they mentioned specifically, or who was it? What was that guy's name? Who was on commentary? Something with a K.
Conan,
yeah. He was like, they're not going to Americanize it.
Yeah.
I hope that's true.
I think, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, I'm not putting it past a corporation like TKO or WWE. I do think if they were to dramatically change what AAA is, just based on everything we've seen. One of my friends from work, you know, she and her family are all from Mexico, and she was like, when they heard AAA was bought by WWE, I mean, she didn't even watch wrestling. She brought it up to me. She's like, yeah, I just hope they don't really change it because, you know, that's what we would do like Saturday mornings. You know, we would watch Lucha Libre. And so, like, I think it has such a cultural stamp that if they did, they really run the risk of pissing a lot of people off.
Me included.
Latinos don't fuck around with that. When Coca-Cola said their fuck shit a few months back.
What did they say?
I don't know. I don't remember. But they said some shit. I think it was after the election.
Yeah.
A lot of those Latin American countries stopped buying Coke products altogether.
Well, hell yeah.
So, like,
good for y'all. Stand on business. I like that.
Stand on business. So,
and if they try to change AAA, even though I just got introduced to it, I'll be there standing on business with you guys.
That's right.
Otherwise, like, what's the point? If you're trying to make everything the same, what's the point of having different stuff.
Yeah.
Boring.
We talked a little bit about the Money in the Bank match, the men's ladder match. First off, can we just... I was getting some shit for this online for pointing it out, but you know what? I don't care. WWE, are y'all good? Are we really that down bad that we're slapping labels and brands on everything?
Here's the thing.
Or is it just greed?
It's obviously just greed.
There's no way we're that down bad.
No. And again, I said it before, we can exist in two realities. One where the WWE TKO, it's a business, it's a for-profit company.
That's right.
Their aim is to make money and to please their shareholders, like all for-profit companies. And I can be disappointed when I'm reminded of that fact in the middle of the men's Money in the Bank match when they whip out a fucking fireball ladder. Don't piss me off. I had made a joke in pre-preview that there was going to be a Sprite ladder or something. Yeah. A Sprite chair. I can't remember what I said. People have been joking online for months that there's going to be ads added to the belts. Guys, we're not far off.
We're not far off because we got the Slim Jim tables. Mm-hmm. Now we got the fireball ladder.
And then we have Prime and Slim Jim turnbuckles.
No, 7-Eleven turnbuckles.
7-Eleven.
No,
Jesus Christ.
Here's my thing, and I've been saying this ever since they added the Prime logo to where I think it was WrestleMania 40 when they first started doing that.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't mind the sponsored ads on like the logos in the ring. It didn't bother me that much. Even when it was just Prime, it didn't really bother me that much. The turnbuckles, whatever, fine. I just think, and this is where I was getting shit. People were like, why do people care about this? For a long time, I didn't care about it. I just think it's excessive when you have it on fucking props.
Yeah.
When you have it on props used for matches. It's one thing when you have this match is sponsored by Mike's Twisted or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Mike's Hard Lemonade or Twisted Tea or whatever. I'm mixing up brands here. And they have like on all the LEDs, whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever. It's the same thing they did with that Mountain Dew Pitch Black match a few years back. Like, that was kind of weird, kind of dumb. So, like, I don't mind it when it's just around. You made a whole spot for a whole segment with Chad Gable and American Made, and then those are the ladders you used for the winning moment.
Yeah.
Like,
and to me, I think the difference because I didn't like that it was going to be on the mat when it was just Prime. I was annoyed by that. And I've been annoyed at everything they've added since then. But when you start to add it to props, okay, I want someone to make a spreadsheet. Go back, take like a sample of like 20 matches from 2 years ago.
Right.
Before we had all this branding. And then take another sample of 20 matches after having all this branding. See if there's any change in the amount of matches that we have that include tables, ladders, and chairs now that they're branded. That's what I don't like. I'm like, you have incentive now. Instead of like having a well written out match that is like choreographed naturally and implements these props for the full effect.
Yeah.
Are people just going to try to shove as much of this shit as possible in their matches?
Right.
Just to do it, just to get those brands on screen? Is this something that's even going to be a thing outside of PLEs? Do we have to worry about it at Monday Night Raw?
We don't see as much of it outside of PLEs.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
I don't know. But it just makes it feel so cheap.
Yeah.
It makes it feel so... Even though I know it's the exact opposite,
right.
They're making so much money. They're telling us over and over in every press conference, we have beaten our last record of how much money we made.
Right.
In everything. In tickets, in merch.
Right.
They keep beating it. That's not the issue. They're telling that to us. It's just that they're greedy.
Now, I will say I also have seen this online where people are like, hey, if you guys don't like all the sponsored items and ads, like logos in WWE, you're going to hate Triple Mania.
What is that?
The AAA's big show that they do every year. It's their version of WrestleMania.
Okay.
They're like, that's
because it's a lot of branding.
You see that even more.
But it's different when a company's small,
right,
and needs it, and when a company's the biggest wrestling conglomerate in the world.
Yeah. So
and doesn't need it.
It's just a little silly. And again, it didn't stop me from enjoying the match. Obviously, it looks silly. It looks silly. It feels greedy and it looks silly.
And maybe this is just us not, because I know that this is common for like any hockey arena, any football field, except for the Savannah Bananas, which is an ad-free baseball stadium. Thank you very much. Because they're fucking classy.
That's right.
And tickets are $40 fucking dollars. I love the Savannah Bananas. Anyway.
We can't get started.
Can't get started on that. But like maybe this is a very like, this is sports and we're not used to it. But like we're allowed to be annoyed until hopefully one day, hopefully one day we're desensitized to it.
Or they just stop doing it as much.
I don't see that happening, brother.
But anyway, that didn't stop us from enjoying the men's ladder match.
Yeah.
Very unexpected winner, but we had it was a great match. It was a great men's ladder match. I must say, it's definitely the best one since we've been watching.
Yeah.
And we've had some good ones, we've had some bad ones, but we've had some good ones. And this one, yeah, I was for sure that Seth Rollins was not winning this one.
It was like, I know for a fact he's not winning.
Right. And
we counted him out immediately.
Both of us, literally almost at the same exact time when it happened, we both went, like, really?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, but it was crazy because we had interruptions. We had Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu, full face turned on Solo. Yeah. Solo, who was the funniest part of the whole match.
Solo's so funny. I'm glad that he's getting more comfortable so he can be funnier.
And they just let him show his personality more. I have a feeling he's like that.
I think so too.
Like he's more like that than what we saw him as, like the enforcer.
1,000%.
Because he's just so naturally funny up there. Him and Jimmy are probably really funny together. But anyway, so that was really great. Then we get the men's tag team match. Mm-hmm. We have Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena. Surprisingly, kind of a banger of a match too.
And that was the one where I was like, I don't care.
We both were like, this is going to be a match. It'll be fine.
I'm here to watch it. It'll be entertaining. I knew it was going to be entertaining because look who's in it.
Right.
And
it was a pretty good match.
And it was a pretty good match. Like, I was pretty entertained because they pulled out some new shit.
Yeah.
Logan Paul doing all those moves with the drone in his hand was pretty cool.
Logan Paul taking a double bump with the fucking drone.
It was pretty cool.
Damn it. Cool.
I just liked seeing a new.
The moonsault off the second rope through the announce table with Jey Uso. Yeah. It's like, fuck, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
But, again, the match on its own merit was pretty fucking good. Like, at least we were ready to just be like, oh, this match will be fine. It'll be
definitely not worthy of the main event, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. But boy, oh boy. We get an interruption from Masked Gentleman. Didn't know who it was. They unmasked. I leaned over, and this is what made me say to Kendra, mid-match, it was pretty early on in the match, I said, this won't happen. But what if R-Truth interfered with this match?
Yeah. It was almost like heartbroken, like, man, if he was still here, like, he could have interrupted this match. It would have been so cool, but he's not because he was released, right?
And then we get this Masked Gentleman. He unmasks himself, and it's fucking R-Truth.
I saw an African-American ankle. I said, who is black and mad in this moment with these people? And I was like, I can't think of anyone. And then he took off his mask, and I said, now hang on a second. Wait a minute.
And I'm like, we need to start streaming our when we're watching, so that way I won't look like a fucking liar.
Yeah, he does. He calls a lot of stuff, but like it's in the heat of the moment, not on pre-preview hours before.
Because I'm like, oh, they have the ladder set up a certain way. They're gonna do something onto that ladder. We can't. Again, I pull out my theater knowledge, and I'm like, okay, we've established a prop here or a setup here. We can't just do that and not use it.
Unless they did to subvert expectations, which was what I thought they were going to do with that ladder, but they did end up coming back and using it. But yeah.
So
what a
anyway,
crazy.
And so obviously we're very, very happy.
Yes.
And the entire week, like the moment that R-Truth announced that he was, so it wasn't that he was just released.
Right.
It's that his contract, from what I understand, his contract wasn't being renewed. Mm-hmm. And then you hear all these stories about, well, it's because they wanted to negotiate his contract. They wanted to pay him a lot less. Then you hear it was actually that it wasn't even the higher ups that contacted R-Truth, who's been with the company for a collective like 20 something years. Mm-hmm. It was like talent relations. It was like just
damn.
Yeah. So I think he was, he felt very slighted. Mm-hmm. Then you're hearing, again, this is all just speculation. I'm seeing online. Obviously, we have no connections to the WWE whatsoever. But we see that the deal came together in like 72 hours leading up to Money in the Bank. So like, I mean, you saw from Monday Night Raw, you started hearing the "We Want Truth, What's Up" chants. Mm-hmm. Like the internet collectively went crazy when R-Truth, when the news about R-Truth came out, and then he wasn't featured on TV. No mentions of him on TV. People were told to remove any clothing of his, like any merch of his.
Yeah, the wrestlers were.
So, but the power of voices is mighty, because, I mean, now he's listed on their website now as Ron Killings, under his own name. So I think we're going to see a very different version of R-Truth. Bless you. I think we're going to see a very different version of R-Truth, but I'm so excited. We were at Saturday Night's main event, and the whole time we're just like, it's so cool that like R-Truth gets to be part of John Cena's like final run, right? Yeah. Because they have this fun little history of R-Truth idolizing John Cena. And it's just cool. It's just like, it's you love to see R-Truth win in this way. Like, I mean, last year's WrestleMania, or not last year, the year before, when they had the tag match.
Yeah, with The Miz. Yeah.
With Miz. When Awesome Truth won the titles in the ladder match. R-Truth, only motherfucker that made me cry at WrestleMania. Because it was just so cool that he got a WrestleMania moment. Yeah. Like, because he's R-Truth, and you know how long he's been there, how much work he does, and how much everyone just, how much the fans love him, how much apparently everyone who works at WWE loves him. So it was really, really cool to see this. And anyway, the conversation has now been, or the question has now been, has this all been one giant work, or was this the power of the fans that forced WWE to pivot? And I think it's WWE made a major pivot due to the backlash that they faced.
We've seen them do that before.
And I'm giving the credit to the fans. The fans that rallied behind R-Truth.
Right. If this is the scenario, we have to keep in mind that if this is the case, the WWE still very much was willing to let him go.
They tried.
If no one had said anything, I don't know if he'd be back.
No.
But also, we don't know for sure, because Triple H would make you think, oh, it was all part of the work.
Well, so after he made that comment, R-Truth's very real son apparently, he tweeted, and I think it's been deleted since then, that comment was cap.
Oh,
and then
there you go.
R-Truth.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
R-Truth has also since tweeted that everyone saw #We Want Truth, and that's what made the difference. So I think it's safe to assume, even though I think
we're not going to know for another 10 years.
Triple H is going to know he's going to give the corporate politically correct answer, which is, oh yeah, it's all part of it.
And also something else I forgot from the post show, seeing Kathy Kelly talking about R-Truth being back and how he's like her favorite part.
Yeah.
And she cried. Yeah, that makes me think that it was real.
Yeah, I fully think, and listen, as much as I give the credit to the fans, I think in certain moments, WWE has been smart to pivot to what is wanted. And that, again, we saw it happen with WrestleMania 40, where it was going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
And people were pissed.
In the main event. And We Want Cody took over the internet, and we ended up getting 2 really great matches for both nights for the main event. So, like, they've listened and pivoted before.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened here.
I think so too.
10,000%. What this means for Truth, I think we're going to see him still in his final run, but I think it's going to be like a legit run. Like you don't give him that moment based on everything that has actually really happened and not give him like something legit to do in there.
Yeah. Well, I fucking hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, I mean, it's very reassuring seeing everyone band together for like the good guy.
Yeah.
R-Truth is not over with the audience. You know what I mean? He's beloved. That's something that's not a trend. That's from years, most of my life, he has been at WWE, like giving them everything and anything. You want to turn the light on?
Yeah.
Hey guys, does this look better? I think it does. Sorry. It's getting dark outside.
Really dark outside.
Sorry guys, it's 9 p.m. So like, yeah, to hear, because I thought, okay, we're going to hear it, obviously, like, we're going to hear something. The first whatever live event we have after that news breaks. And we did. And then we heard it at the next event. And then we heard it at Worlds Collide.
Yep.
And then we heard it at Money in the Bank. It's like we kept our foot on their neck. As a group, we came together and like agree on something that's so refreshing nowadays to have like someone that we can all get behind.
Yeah.
And of course it's R-Truth. But yeah, I don't know. It was just, I always said, because from the moment it was announced, people were like, is this real? Because they didn't think that him being released in the first place, like that was when people began their speculations. But it had come after a lot of other people were released, and Carlito was released the same day, or it was announced that he was released the same day. So I'm like, I don't know if they would pretend about something like that when it's like very really happening to other people, especially because it came from R-Truth himself.
Right.
I don't think R-Truth would have put out the statement he did on the same day Carlito got released if his was fake and Carlito's was real. So that's what makes me think that it was not a work.
I don't think it was a work at all.
And it was just the power of the people. But crazy way to end that.
So glad he's there.
Glad he's back.
I'm curious what this means. I would love if we're going with a more serious Ron Killings instead of, the world heavyweight champ Ron Killings, as opposed to happy-go-lucky R-Truth. We were talking about this earlier today. I'd love to see maybe him and Randy Orton get a match. Just because I know Randy's going to want to settle a score for ruining that match. Or maybe they could become a team. That could be really cool. I don't know. I would love to see R-Truth and Cena maybe run it back again, just in a more, we could see a title versus career sort of match.
Oh yeah.
Like if you beat me, you're champion. Yeah. But if I win, you have to leave. That's it, and that's John Cena's way of ruining wrestling again, right?
Oh yeah, that's
that could be more of a, and then immediately sign that man to a Legends deal.
Yeah.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. Want the world for R-Truth. Love that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much we could see, and we will see, hopefully starting Monday. Anyway, let us know what y'all think of this new R-Truth. What do you think of the whole We Want Truth campaign and him returning? It was, so we'd love to hear your thoughts. Real quick, before we wrap up the episode, it's really, really pivoting to something completely different than wrestling.
But as badass and
But just
fun.
as badass. We went and saw from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. And y'all, to put it bluntly, That was fucking awesome.
It was so good. First of all, we saw it on a Sunday at 12:15, right around noon. Very lunch. There was a man, I don't know if you saw him. He had come from church, very obviously.
Hell yeah.
He was in his Sunday best from church, and he came to see Ballerina Cappuccina. See her beat the shit out of people on
Good for
God's
him.
day.
That's awesome.
This is the Lord's
balance.
The Lord wants me to do this today. It was so good. As I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, is this my favorite John Wick movie? Like, it might be my favorite John Wick movie, which is saying
really
a lot.
fucking good.
It was so good. And I like that, just like every other John Wick, we're straight into the shit. They're like, you don't need backstory. Like, we're going to show you what you need as we go. Like, don't fret about all of the exposition. Like, focus on we're beating ass. And then we'll let you know why later.
Yeah, this movie is very much made for the John Wick fan.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're like, if you haven't seen the other ones, you'll catch up. Don't worry about it. But also, we're not going to hold your hand for this.
Yeah.
You have to have seen the other ones to really grasp. But yeah, no, this one was so much fun, and it was so cool, just straight out the gate. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this was a movie that very. I think it takes pauses when it needs to pretty well, but like it's pretty just let's get to it. Let's get to the point. We know why you're here.
Yeah.
Ana de Armas is fantastic.
Yeah.
In this movie, like just a complete badass.
I think the only other thing I've ever seen her in was Knives Out.
Yeah.
This is different. Okay, guys, this one's different.
And they play to her strength in this, like, I mean, she's very beautiful, but she's very like small and unassuming, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't. Maybe this is more of a commentary on me. It's like you don't automatically assume action star, right? Like,
yeah, and they did like comment on it in the movie. This isn't like a spoiler or anything, but they're like, you're always going to be smaller and weaker.
Right.
You have to play to those strengths, and I think she said, "Fight like a girl."
Yeah.
I love that.
You know what?
Feminism.
And I feel like a few years ago, that would have been seen as like a regressive sort of line.
Or they would have been like, look at them,
shoehorning?
Shoehorning, not horseshoeing. Mm-hmm. This like fake lib feminism stuff in there. But it didn't feel like that.
No, and it felt fun, and it felt just like, I don't know. It wasn't so much like a, hey, some dude wrote this. It felt it felt organic. Yeah. It felt fun. It didn't feel forced. And that's how the whole movie was. Like, it was just, the action in these movies is second to none. Yeah. Like, I wonder how much of
training.
Huh?
Training.
Well, yes, but no. I was gonna say, I wonder how much the John Wick movies influenced the Academy's decision to finally create like a stunt award.
I mean, it's so like it feels like a stunt movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe it's stunt work is in fucking everything. Yeah. And has been so glossed over for forever. So. Yeah.
But I feel like these types of movies are making like a resurgence. I mean, we used to see this sort of like not action fodder, but like action fodder like in the 90s and in 2000s. And then you get the superhero movies kind of took over that. But now that we're sort of seeing like, thanks to John, I say thanks to John Wick, we have more of your Novocaines and Mr. Nobodies, Ballerina now, which is part of the John Wick franchise. So like now that we're seeing more and more of these like crop up and that they're just supposed to be fun and like badass. Yeah, I just wonder how much that influenced that decision. Maybe. But there were so many cool action sequences here. And it's cool. I was saying, so obviously, for those of you familiar with the John Wick movies, the whole Angelica Huston's, Ballerina tribe. Yeah. It was cool because there were some moments in there where you could really see them trying to integrate the movements of ballet into the fight choreography. And there was one moment specifically. It's like I want to spoil, but I won't. there's a type of weapon that's used that is, you know what? I don't know what to expect from these movies anymore. This was certainly not one of them.
Yeah.
There's a specific weapon that our main character and one of the Giga Chad villains is using, and the way they create like this spinning effect, it really reminded me of something you'd see in ballet, and it made me want to go back and watch it again and be like, oh, where else did they use that? But this is one where they put this girl through as many scenarios as you can possibly imagine in terms of action. And of course, this isn't a spoiler. You saw him in the trailers. The return of Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Now, this does take place between chapters 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. So that kind of explains why he's not dead. Yeah. But I gotta say, he's not in the movie very much. I do think the trailers would lead you to believe that he's a bigger part of the movie than he actually is. That's
interesting, because I didn't think he was going to be in it for very long. They had that first scene that they like.
It's like takes place during. Part 2.
I thought that was going to be it.
Yeah.
But no, he was in it more than I thought he'd be.
And listen, like, I know this movie is about this one character, but like. It's just so good to see John Wick back.
It's good to see John Wick.
He's still so badass. There's a moment where it's like the most subdued fight we've ever seen John Wick in.
Yeah.
Until like 10 minutes later,
he's right back at it.
He's right back at it. I won't give you much more than that, but he's right back at it. But no, Ballerina was, it was, again, that's every time I've mentioned it to someone today, those are the 2 words I can say. It's fucking awesome.
It's so
just
good.
like the rest of the John Wick movies have been.
Yeah.
So,
and you can tell that each John Wick builds upon the John Wick before it, both in elevating like the stunt work that they're doing, and hand in hand with all the stunt stuff is like camera work and cinematography. You can't have one successfully without the other. You know what I mean? So we got some really cool looking shots out of this, like some trick shots that they were like, it looks like we're transitioning and then we don't.
There's a really cool sequence in which she gets into her car, and the effect is really interesting in what they use.
Yeah.
There's also one there's another fight scene where someone falls on the ground, and it looks like the camera like fell on the ground with them, but then it starts following what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like there's really, really cool stuff that they do in this movie that, I agree. It's like you saw some cool stuff like that in the first one, but you're right. They build upon it each time. I also think this one feels the most like they weren't just making up the story.
Yeah. It's like, I think you were telling me this, like the first John Wick was just supposed to be like super cool fun stuff, and then they made
that movie this was not meant to be a franchise.
No, and then they just like had to, as they kept going, had to build a world out of it. And this one was, I agree, the first one where it feels like
there's like nothing that happens in the first one.
Where like
happens in it.
For Ballerina, because it very much feels like the beginning of a new franchise, right? Or like sister franchise.
Yeah.
Not because of women, but you know what I mean. So we have like, we have possibility for future generations of this type of soldier, warrior, fighter, whatever. And it really feels like an established beginning to this branch of the Wickiverse.
Oh my God.
But it was so good. I had so much fun. I haven't stopped thinking about it since we got home.
Yeah.
I want to see it again.
And like there's so much we want to talk about the movie, but we're gonna hold it back for now.
You gotta go see it.
I do know we're gonna get more John Wick content.
Eventually.
Not content. That feels cheap to say. More John Wick stuff. As you know, in the coming years, I know we have John Wick Chapter 5 on the horizon. Don't know how we're getting that.
I don't know how we're doing that.
I believe there's an anime movie, like an anime film coming out.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
Excited to see that. Just because, listen, if it's John Wick, I'm there.
Yeah.
I keep kicking myself for I remember seeing the first one around the time it first came out, but then I didn't watch them until pretty recently. We both started watching them, and we're just like,
this year
these movies are good.
Yeah, because I always thought John Wick. Okay, there's a very specific type of movie that is my dad movie. Like these
core.
These are core, and John Wick in my head was like so core.
Yeah.
And not to say that I don't like the movies that my dad likes, because we usually like all the same movies. My dad also loves Pirates of the Caribbean, like me.
Hell yeah.
But there's some stuff where he's like, he watches and it is very much action fodder. And I'm like, it's not even that fun. It's not even that cool. It's no John Wick. So I just always like chalk John Wick up to that. It is so much more. It is so much more. It's so good.
Again, the first one's still really, really fucking good.
We're not doing much, but it's really good.
It's just, like the premise is it's just like this dog is killed and
this guy
just
is
happened to be for the most deadly assassin on earth, apparently.
Yeah.
And
did we even have any of like the organized crime stuff
sort of
from it?
Because I mean the main villain was like his son like is the one that like was stealing his car or something like that.
Yes.
And like the Continental was a thing, but I don't think we had as much of the. It wasn't until like John Wick 2 and 3 that really like expanded.
Yeah, we got families, and then there was like the high table above the table or whatever.
Yeah. So Ballerina does not that those movies suffered, because again, you go to John Wick for a good time.
Yeah.
Like to the franchise. If you're going up to John Wick, you better be prepared to. You better have said goodbye to everybody else when you're up close with the Baba Yaga. Okay. But no, Ballerina doesn't. It's not slowed down by trying to world build as much, because we already have a well-established universe. There is the climax of the movie takes place in this area. I'm not going to tell you what happens in it. I couldn't stop laughing, not because it was bad, but I'm just like, what? Where the fuck are we? Yeah. What is this place that we've wound up in? Yeah. But it made for a very interesting problem for our character Eve. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's so much fun. I could not recommend it more.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, I definitely would like to go see it again. We'll see. we have 2 weeks off.
That's true, but it was 2 hours and 5 minutes long.
Also, listen, y'all, we showed up 25 minutes.
We were late.
We showed up 25 minutes late, and we still had to sit through like another 10, 15 minutes of trailers.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck were they watching before we got there? Because we saw all the trailers.
So,
crazy.
At least you have a little bit more time to get ready and run one more errand before you get to the theater.
We dropped off a package to the UPS store on our way down.
And we didn't miss a thing.
And we didn't miss a beat.
But anyway, so if you all have checked out Ballerina, let us know your thoughts. Would love to hear what you thought about it. Again, we really loved it.
Yeah.
That's just us. Anyway, I think that about wraps everything up.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add. Talked about Floop. Talked about Savannah Bananas. Talked about wrestling. Talked about Ballerina, Cappuccina.
What a great time.
Got nothing else to add.
Thank y'all so much for listening. We talk a lot about Money in the Bank. We talk a lot about movies. There's a lot going on in Los Angeles these days. So our hearts go out to everyone, to all the protesters who are, fighting for basic human rights and civic rights. And if you are someone who is able to help any of the organizations that are trying to help those people and migrants and all the people who make this country truly great, please support them in the way that you can. I'll put some resources in the description of the videos as well as our links. But yeah, I didn't want to let this moment pass by. Too many Latino creators out there stay silent about these sort of things. And full admission, I tend to not talk about these sort of things just because that's not what this channel is about. However, as small as our platform may be, it's still a platform. And if it reaches even one person, we're one person stronger, I hope. So anyway, just kind of sprung that on us there. I wanted to throw that in there. If you're not already following us, please make sure you're following us on all of our various socials. Follow us on YouTube. We put every episode of Ringside on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you're following our Twitch and our TikTok. That's where whenever we go live on those two platforms. And yeah, just make sure you're following us. That way you can keep up with anything and everything we do whenever we do it. Or you could just follow to see the many, many silly TikToks that I think are funny. And sometimes other people think they're funny too. Yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in, and we will catch y'all for the next one.
Stay safe out there.
Peace.
Bye.